My interviewing officer said to me, "Why do you want to join the Army?" And I thought, oh gosh, I got to find a suitable answer for that. And then he said, "Are you prepared to die for your king and country?" And I said, "Yes, sir."
They said, "You want to join the Army?" I said, "Yes." "George, you gotta come and we're gonna go to England and we're gonna go this, go that." We weren't being patriotic, we were just more or less for the adventure at that age. You want a lot of action? I said, of course, all I can say, yes. Yes, sir. Within 4 or 5 hours, I was in uniform.
I saw a line up. We're out for getting a Hamburg and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "We're joining the Army." Ooh. So a friend of mine said, "What do you say we get on the lineup?" So he did. It was a very, very impromptu, and in the afternoon we were in the Army.
I enlisted just before I was 19, April of 1943. I more or less hoped it would last long enough for me to get into it. Crazy, but true.
So I joined up, I felt good. I felt good joining up.
When you're 18 years old, you don't know too much. But the one thing I learned with my war experience was the importance of togetherness.
When you're in training and you're learning everything in Morse code, everything is Morse code. You drive along the street and you see a billboard and you immediately translate it into Morse code in your mind. And you're doing it all the time. You're going da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Quite easy. You know, I do that, da-da-da-da, four dots, da-da, A, da-da-da, R, da-da-da, R, da-da-da-da. That's Harry.
The things we had to learn, you'd almost unbelieve. Like you had to learn the alphabet from A to Z, but you had to do it backwards. Like Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, K, P, L, A, CBA.
It was pretty obvious there was going to be a landing in France, and we would be part of it. We had no idea, it was deep secret, where it would be and when.
When we actually landed on the beach, we never ever practiced it that way. We practiced different ways in Scotland, and they decided to forget any of those ways, just go in the way we were. So that's what we did.
We navigated by the seat of your pants. You had the map. That was it.
Bailing out of a typhoon is tricky. Any fighter, the way you bail out, you get rid of the hood and you bunt the stick forward and it throws you out of the plane. But when you don't have a tail, you can't do that. So I had to eject the side and the roof. And I laid down on my side onto the wing and slid down the wing so I wouldn't hit the tailplane. So that was the tricky bailout.
We had overrun what I think you would describe as a pillbox, okay? It's a huge concrete, and it had a steel door, and it had 2 ventilators on top. So we dropped 2 or 3 grenades down there, probably maybe half a dozen, I don't know. And they were still in there. So we had 2 jerry tins of petrol. We dumped one down and lit it. We burned the oxygen out. Then they come out. They duplicated exactly what we'd done on that Dirty Dozen, only on a lot more massive scale. They were dumping buckets of grenades down.
A German soldier came up with a potato masher grenade. You remember what those things were like? Opened the door, which was right behind Gillen sitting there. He thought he was against a wall, and brought it down on his steel helmet and rendered him both unconscious and deaf for about 3 days. But he survived.
And all of a sudden, crunch! I'd hit a tree. I don't know what happened to the tree. They picked me up with an ambulance and took me to hospital. I'd lost my teeth. They were left in the crash pad.
Had a water bottle. And the water bottle, you know, in the morning, if we were moving off, we'd have a rum tot, naval rum, good, strong naval rum. And I had this water bottle with the leftover rum. And I got to tell you, I've never had a potent drink like that in my life.
One day, this young lad come along with a bicycle. Excuse me, he said, he wanted to get some petrol for his car. I got a car, but I'd like to get, no, I said, we don't sell gasoline to the Dutch people or anything because it's military stuff. But he said, just a minute, my dad makes beer. He said, could I trade some beer for that? And I said, I'm not the boss. Come on with me. What's your name? Freddie Heineken. Freddie Heineken. Well, Freddie Heineken to me was no different than Eric. I'd never met him before, and I didn't know the word Heineken. Anyway, it turned out Freddie Heineken became a good friend.
I was hit 6 times, but I was never hit personally. I can't remember anybody that was hit personally. No, it was always the airplane that got the beating. I guess if you were hit personally, you were down. Yeah, I was lucky. Yeah, I've been lucky all my life. Yeah.
You have to laugh. You have to have a laugh in life. I was lucky.
I want them to know that I sincerely feel that I was very fortunate.
Just remember me just playing George. Yep. That's all I want.
But I ended up in the North Shore Regiment, and basically they were, New Brunswick was bilingual even in those days. I thought I was in the Foreign Legion. As time went on, especially after D-Day, I got to know them, and I think some of them are the best friends I ever had in my life, is those guys in that outfit.
There were many, many people involved in Army, Navy, and the Air Force. And many, many were doing their job, doing it for their country. To have that Canada badge on your shoulder amongst everyone else meant something you couldn't replace.